work for that to kind of be what happened. But it was the highlight, outstanding moment of the game, wasn't it? Matty Ashton's try, Curry's line that he ran, and the pass that he made was impeccable, and the ability to finish from Ashton to break through that near ankle tap, it just showed his pace and his balance, and it was really, really impressive, and the kind of try that you want to see be the moment that wins a game like this.
Exactly, yeah, that's what we want as a match-winning play, is to have that, and that's the sort of thing you put in your highlight reel to sell the game.
Yeah, there was a neat try from Darryl Alforts as well, although I wasn't. It was, a nice little bit of interplay inside him, and then the ball got out to him, and he did a diving finish. I wasn't quite sure that he did get it down cleanly, but there was enough to say he did, I think, with the on-field call on that one. So we'll credit him with a very good fingertip finish rather than anything otherwise. So, both teams had nice moments. What about star players? So Ashton got 3 points, Cooper 2, and O'Brien 1 in the Man of Steel points. I think O'Brien got the Cass fans Man of the match as well, I saw online. Albert Goldthorpe points went to Mike Cooper 3, Peter Matautia got 2 points, and Ollie Holmes got 1 point. I would say I wasn't necessarily sure where that last 1 point there came from. Not that he was poor, but I don't think it was exceptional. But I would say Richardson was good again for Cass, and I would ask him, is he better without Truman, or is it just a bit of a weird kind of coincidence of timing and matches that have come up where he hasn't been playing with Truman? The last 2 Super League matches in particular, Richardson's been good.
Yeah, I think there might well be something in that, but then he knows the responsibility is definitely on him, and there's no ambiguity, whereas with Truman, there's a bit more sort of, is it you, is it me? And it's how they fit together, and I suppose it's in how that works. But I think there is possibly something about that. I mean, if you think about, is Richardson's game, he's suited to being with someone, or he's probably a game which he is more suited to being, the dominant pair of the dominant one of the pairing. So I think that, and where he has got that responsibility cleanly, I think that does help him. But I think part of it may well be coincidence. And don't forget, they've not had that many games together as a partnership. So they will be growing as in terms of whose responsibility is what and how they fit together anyway. So it could well be that this is just what we're seeing at the moment. But actually, once they've played 10, 15 more games with each other, they'll be able to iron out some of that roles and responsibilities and who's doing what and who's looking where.
Yeah, well, I mean, for the last 18 months, Truman's had to be the man, hasn't he, who's controlled things. Yeah. I don't necessarily think that's what he's wanted to be, because he showed such a great running game and stuff, didn't he? He was so instinctive when he first came into the Cass side. So probably Richardson stamping his mark on the side might actually help when Truman's fully fit, him get back to what he maybe does best anyway. I think Danny Walker was really good in place of Darryl Clark. It was a big boost to Phil, but he really didn't let anyone down, did he, the young wiry hooker?
No, he had a bit of a spark about him, he had a bit of something there, and he's got a good future if he carries on like that.
But Mike Cooper was outstanding for the second week in a row for Warrington. He showed great leadership for that side. I almost think it's time, and no offence to Chris Hill or anything, but to make Mike Cooper the captain of this side, and Chris Hill become, a player not with no powers left, but of reduced powers.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at like Morley in his last 1 or 2 seasons where he sort of eased out and faded off, and he accepted that's what he was going to do, and he was going to be a bit part player, but he wasn't then the captain. But I think he needs to be in that similar mould, and I think with Chris Hill as well, it's the temperament question, that he just doesn't have the temperament that you want as your captain now.
Yeah, whereas Cooper can rough it up and everything like that, but he seems calm in the moment as well, doesn't he?
Yeah.
I really, you can't say much more about the way he's been playing recently, and I didn't understand the television man of the match decision. I think it went to Blake Austin, but did it? I can't remember actually. I don't know if I even watched who it went to. But then I'll take that back. But that that try at the end was fantastic, and I'd rather remember that than Tommy Lynham's reach around.
Yeah, definitely. And I think Mike McMeekan impressed me actually playing in the centres, and he had a pretty decent game. And I think the intelligence he showed early on in the game to put his arm out to make sure he was in touch was quite clever. So I think
that was ridiculous. That was penalised against Warrington was ridiculous. But I think there was then an evening up call the next set, so no one lost too much sleep over it.
But it was from him in the moment. It was exactly the right. He spotted the opportunity and just went for it. So you can't back him for that. Nah,
it takes away a shred of credibility from him. But I'm sure if he was doing it for my team, I'd not cry about it.
Okey-doke.
Right, from Lynham's reach around, we go on to Jordan Abdul's reach through as we get on to the third game of the round. St Helens 21, Hull KR 20, so another absolute nail-biting cracker. It was 8-6 to the Saints at half-time. Jack Smith was the referee, his first Super League game, I think, of the season, with the whistle. In terms of the team stats, Hull KR made 5 more breaks and 15 more successful offloads, but also 5 more errors, while St Helens had nearly 300 more metres from close to the same amount of carries for a 1.4 metres per carry better average gain. So both teams did some good stuff. Individually, James Bentley, 59 tackles, 21 of which were marker tackles. Right, James Bentley, I've figured it out because there was something nagging at me about his face, and I've decided what it is now. He looks like a police photo fit, right? I just haven't decided yet if he's a police photo fit of a 1920s con man or a 1980s rapist. I've not decided which one yet, but that's what he is.
Right, let me bring it up and have a closer inspection.
It needs to be a current picture though, because his moustache is getting like way more photo fitty than it was at the start of the season when it was just teenage boy-y.
Oh yeah, no, it's definitely it's definitely is wanted in connection with a series of incidents in the area, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Artist impression of.
It's just the sort of the generic sort of nose shape he's got as well. It's a very sort of just average nose that they've just stuck on.
That's right, yeah. Basically, if someone wants to do me a pencil drawing of him that'll look like a police artist impression, then everyone will totally start linking him to various crimes around the country over the last 80 years or 100 years maybe. Anyway, Jack Welsby 1 try, 5 tackle balls, 188 metres, 2 clean breaks. Alex Walmsley 1 try, 10 marker tackles, 7 tackle balls and 133 metres, and Johnny Lomax 1 try assist and 127 metres. For the losing Hull KR side, Ethan Ryan, 1 try, and I'm sure we'll talk about that try in a little while, 112 metres, 2 clean breaks and 5 successful offloads. Kane Linnett, 143 metres, Elliot Minchella, 49 tackles and 3 successful offloads, and George Lawler, 118 metres. Quite a few people got in touch on this one. The entertaining nature inspired the fans to get in touch, Tim.
Yep, starting with @Aidan Stalker, who said everything was far too slow from Saints. Really was an opportunity missed by KR, but it looks like they're on the up. Some glorious kicks from Coote and Dagger were probably the highlights. Always good to see an Irishman get a try with Ethan Tipperary Ryan.
Tom Andrews said, well, one proud Robin here. Solid effort, but maybe one error too many. Love how we are playing at the moment, just evidence of what a non-relegation league, which Tony Smith is a big advocate of, can produce. Thought Abdul was outstanding again. Think we are maybe one big proper way from being as good as anyone. Walmsley was fantastic for them. Roll on the isolated rhinos. #Rovers for empty Wembley.
Yeah, I'll go and get a photo outside. I'll go and hang around.
22,000 potentially is what's allowed in Wembley in October.
Oh, fingers crossed. I mean, that could be a bonus, couldn't it?
Yeah, I don't know how they're going to get the logistics, but yeah.
Don't worry, it'll all end up at Featherstone. Carsten says, beating Wigan, getting Saints to Golden Point. Imagine what KR can do if Jimmy the Kind Horse is back. The Fresh Prince is a grub, and we have French golden goal kicker now.
Fresh Princey means Kevin Niguama, I think. Not as big a grub as originally thought. Always in Our Shadow said, another one in the loss column. Doesn't matter how much everyone else bigs you up, you can't win. That's you told, Tim.
It is, yeah. I'll go back in my box. Lee Whitnell says, all of a sudden, with the threat of relegation removed, Rovers take the shackles off and can compete with the top sides. It's almost as if jeopardy and the threat of financial ruin isn't necessarily the answer to competitiveness. Hey, Sky.
St David said, listen to this in my caravan on Anglesey, a very neutral Radio Humberside, so no idea what actually happened really. Obviously never in doubt. Onwards. A few disciplinary
I don't think you can ever accuse Radio Humberside of being neutral.
No.
Even if it's the FC commentators doing a Rovers game, you can still tell exactly which one it is within about 10 seconds.
Oh yeah, and like on a derby game, it's intensely biased. It's just you get to hear both intense biases. In terms of, there was a few disciplinary things to tidy up from this one. Kevin Niguama had a grade C high tackle, which was originally given us 2 games ban for the high tackle on Kane Linner towards the end of the game that saw him sin-bin for the latter stages of this one. It was overturned on appeal to a grade A charge, which means he got a £500 fine for troubling the disciplinary committee, but no game ban for Kevin Niguama. And Jordan Abdul, he was charged with grade D other contrary conduct and referred to a hearing this evening, but the outcome from the hearing is that he pled guilty, but he challenged the grading, and the board agreed with him. They downgraded it from a D grade offence to a C grade offence, and he's been fined £500 and banned 2 matches. Has Jordan Abdul, which is bad news for Hull KR really in terms of the next couple of weeks of games. But we'll talk a little bit about these instances, because then we can do the same as we did before, talk about the positive to finish off the game. But Niguama's high tackle, swinging arm direct to the head, probably should have been a red, but didn't really matter because of the time left in the game. But
I think it would have been a red at any other point in the game, and I think it was just the yellow card was there, and it was the situation. Why not? I think Jack Smith controlled this one quite well overall. I think he did quite well, and I still rate him as a really top class referee.
Yeah. So downgraded to a grade A from a grade C. We've yet to obviously see the notes to explain all of that, but seems I sort of get it. I think there's probably a lot of similar tackles that will just be giving us a grade A striking charge. I don't think the intention that was there to cause an injury or any damage like that. I do think it was more a case of trying to make a desperate tackle at a late stage of a close game. But it was pretty nasty. The Jordan Abdul one. So Jordan Abdul's was very different to Tom Lynham's one, where Jordan Abdul was a defender again, so like Tom Lynham, but he reached his arm between the opposition player's legs and then quickly pulled it back out. But I think he was reaching in to kind of go to lift or something like that, and then realised that's stupid and pulled it out. I don't think he ever probably did really get in on the grip sort of situation, I suppose. It looked more innocuous and less nasty than the Tom Lynham one, so I can understand why it's been viewed differently by the panel, but it's still been obviously punished and told don't put your hands where they shouldn't go, even if you're not really doing anything when they're there, with this grade C charge and a 2-game ban.
Yeah, I think it's it's they are trying to send a message with these that this isn't acceptable, and I think that's right. I think it isn't something you want to see, and it's not something that we want in the game. So I think it's good that they are actually taking a firm and fairly consistent stance about it.
Yep. Okay. Onto the game itself. I really enjoyed this one for until the drop goal at the end. I think everyone was quite good in this game. Coote, Lomax, and Farge all did nice stuff for St Helens. Abdul, Hadley, both centres. on both sides of the pitch. I think